What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate y'all connecting with me this morning while I get these 10,000 steps in. Motor City, 4 a.m. You know what we doing. This morning, the topic is a comment request. It was a comment on a previous video of mine asking me about my views and opinions about women making six figures and having difficulty attracting men on the dating market that are their equivalent. So I'm gonna start off by saying this, ladies. Some of the things that I'm going to say, you probably are not going to like, but these are gonna be things that are necessary for you to hear in order for you to get better outcomes. So maybe a bit of a gut punch, but I think overall, it's better that you hear it from someone like myself who genuinely wants you to receive better outcomes than not. So let's get started. Oftentimes, the issues are the same. And I mean the same as in woman to woman that's in this position. The issues that they're having are caused by the same reasons. So first off, men are usually not looking for a provider or a protector. So how much money you make, it doesn't matter as much to us. Like, women are typically looking for a provider and a protector. Provider for damn sure. So how much money a man makes is important to you, but it's not quite as important to us. I'll give a good example. If I'm making 200K a year and my woman is making 200K a year, I don't care. I'm gonna be paying all of the bills anyway. So you see what I mean? Her money is her money. My money is what is being used to pay all of the bills. She's using her money for whatever it is that she wants. So I'm not benefiting from her money. She's not sharing her bag with me, so I couldn't care less. So there's that part. A guy that's making that type of money, he's usually not interested in women that are making a similar amount because there's a attitude that comes along with a woman making that type of money. We're gonna sit at a couple different places today, man. Damn, I love downtown. It's empty as hell down here right now. Nobody's out doing too much. It's a couple of the city workers, but that's about it. But there's the attitude that comes along with a woman that makes six figures that men typically don't want to deal with if they don't have to. If you're making 200K a year, you don't have to deal with some argumentative, disagreeable boss babe. There's a level of masculine energy that is required in order to climb the corporate ladder. So I get it. I understand where it comes from. When you want to climb the corporate ladder, some masculine traits are necessary. But in many cases, the women that are in that position, they don't know how to turn it off when they're at home and dealing with their man. And that's going to always create a problem. This is why you'll find a woman that you believe is inferior to you with a guy that is high earning. You'll find some part-time waitress that'll be with some guy that's making 100K and up. She'll be earning like maybe 25, 30K a year. He's earning 100 to 150K a year, but she's with him and you're not. The reason why that is because she's usually pretty. She's usually very cooperative, very submissive, and willing to get on board with his program. So you have to compete against those type of women. And many of the women that are high earning, they lack the feminine aspect that men desire so much. We love femininity. Let's just go ahead and just throw that out there. We love femininity. You hear every man talking about femininity. It doesn't matter if he's a rich man or a flat broke man. Men universally appreciate femininity. So that is your best weapon. Your best weapon you're choosing not to use. You're choosing it because of ego or pride or just whatever. You can't be like, I'll never obey a man, I'll never listen to a man, no man's never gonna tell me what to do, and then wonder why the type of men that you want, they're not checking for you. Because the men that you want, they're looking for all things that you say you'll never do. So you have to change this mentality if you want to get better outcomes, because no guy wants to be out here battling the world, chasing excellence, putting a dent in the universe. And after being out here doing this 10, 12, 14 hours out of the day, he now has to go home and fight his woman because his woman on some, I don't need no man, I don't have to listen to you, we equal stuff. It's never gonna work. And guys that earn that type of money, they're not going to get on board with your program. They're leaders, and they're not going to be led around by a woman. The guys who are willing to be led around by a woman, you don't want. You want a guy that's strong and masculine and is a decision maker. Well, that's great, but do you really want that type of guy? Because when you get that type of guy, you don't want to follow his lead. You want to be like, we're equal, and it just doesn't work. We're equal when it's convenient. If you want a man that's a leader, that's a provider, that's a decision maker, that's a bill payer, they're out here. But you have to play your position. Just like he has to play his position, you have to play your position. So that's pretty much what it is. When women make a certain type of money, there's a attitude and a disagreeableness that comes along with it, and that's why you're having a hard time usually attracting the type of man that you want. There's a light that's over here now that wasn't over here before. It was over in Capitol Park, and now it's over here behind me in Campus Martis. I'm sure people just love it being over here now. I mean, this is a better place for it anyway, here at Campus Martis. I don't know why it was ever where it was before. This should have always been where it was. They'll probably move it in a few weeks though. But anyway, like these are the issues that women that are making good money tend to run into regularly. They want a man that pays the bills. They want the very type of man that every other woman wants, but they're not willing to do the things in order to get that man and retain him. If you're a woman that is already married and you start climbing the corporate ladder, making more money, and you become more disagreeable, less feminine, chances are that marriage isn't going to last because you've changed. You're not the same woman that he married. And if you're not already married, you're hustling backwards by taking on these traits and then refusing to soften up on them. Because the things that are important to women, you tend to believe are important to men, and they're not. You're looking for a provider. Men aren't. So men don't really care that much about how much you make or what degrees you have. Because frankly, your degrees are not going to tuck your children in at night. Your bag is not going to tuck your children in at night. Your bag is not going to make your husband lunches. Like the things that men value in women, your bag does not provide. So you have to understand that if you want to attract a specific type of man, you have to become the things that man is looking for. And you have to be willing to do so. You have to be willing to be led if you're a woman. If you want the man to perform his job, his responsibilities, you've got to fall in line. And I know that's something that y'all probably don't want to hear. You don't like hearing. A lot of times modern women don't like hearing things about being traditional. But I don't understand why, because you want a traditional man. You can't want a traditional man while simultaneously being a modern woman. You don't need no man. You don't have to listen to no man. You don't have to fall under a man's headship. These are all of the modern woman tropes, but you still want a traditional man. You want him to be a leader, a provider, you know, you want him to pay them bills, you want him to bring in the bacon, all that sort of stuff. And he should. There's nothing wrong with you wanting that, but our grandmothers weren't that way, our great grandmothers weren't that way, and they were better for it. They were better for it. Now you can say a lot of the men today, they're not like our grandfathers, and I would agree with you there. But the type of man that you want is like our grandfathers, though. The type of man that you want is like our grandfathers. So you can't expect a man to be like how your grandfather was and you not moving at all like how your grandma was. So I hope I've answered most of the questions regarding this. Ladies, it really does come down to how bad do you want to draw up that man that is your equivalent, because you can get a man that's equally yoked in terms of earning, but the problem is your ego is going to get in the way and he gonna ghost you. You know, if you out on the first date and you running off at the mouth way more than he is about yourself, about your accomplishments. It's not that they're not important. It's that the guys at that level, they don't care. They really couldn't care less. If you want a guy that's going to be okay with these things, you're usually going to have to date a guy that's earning a bit less. A guy that's making 50, 60, 70K a year. He's going to be, I'm not going to say a beta, because I know some pretty strong guys that make that type of money, but those type of guys are different in terms of mentality than guys that are earning, you know, low to mid six figures, because those guys are going to be a bit more flexible in terms of dealing with your mouth. Those guys are going to be more flexible in terms of dealing with your attitude, because honestly, you know, when women pay bills, they don't let you forget it. All right, they do not let you forget it. They want to say a lot more. They want to challenge your leadership and authority way more. You know, we're equal. In many cases, when a woman is earning equal or more money, she believes that she is the man's equal, and we're not equal, because if we're upstairs asleep and there's a bump in the night, you're going to expect me to get my butt up and go deal with the intruder. We're not equal. We're not the same. You know, so with that being the case, you can't fall into we're equal when it's convenient. But now that this and that is happening, now it's time for me to step up and be a man. I'm always step up and be a man, but no matter what, we're not equal. We're equal in terms of being human. We're not equal in terms of our roles in a relationship, our responsibilities as man and woman. We're not equal in that aspect. So if you want a certain type of guy, you can get him, but are you willing to become what you must become in order to get him and retain him? Because unfortunately, many of these modern women that are making a good living and whatnot, it's awesome, but they're miserable because they don't have a man to share those things with. They going out on these girls trips. Look at our girl Tia Mowry, and this isn't bashing her, because hey, I'm a fan of hers. I used to love Sister Sister. I didn't watch none of her stuff really after that, but her and her twin sister, that was my junk in the 90s. She out here talking about she about to go on some girls trip to find herself and all that sort of stuff. That's what women do that can't get and retain a, as they call it, high value man. I've never really said that, but I mean, I guess that's what the most recognized term is, high value man. She can't get and retain a high value man. She had one. It was her husband. She left him, and now she's out here on the market struggling like many of y'all, exactly the same way. And she's beautiful and she's successful and she's having the exact same struggle. So it's not about success. when it comes to landing the type of man that you want. It's about becoming the things that you know he wants. It's like turn down your ego some. Stop being so stubborn. Stop being so rigid. The boss babe energy, men don't like. Men don't care for. That just is what it is. Your girlfriends may be impressed by this, but you ain't trying to smash your girlfriends, or you ain't trying to marry your girlfriends. So you could keep doing the things that impress your girlfriends if you want to, and you're going to continue to get the same outcome. Or you could start doing the things that attract the man that you want and get out of this dating market, because let's be for real here. When you reach a certain age, the dating market is bad. Nobody is looking for serious relationships. They just looking for hookups. So before it gets to that, correct course so that you don't end up in that situation. So appreciate y'all connecting with me, man, while I'm out here doing these 10,000 damn steps. Leave me them comments. This is actually a video that I may do a follow-up for. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace.